In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. For those who worship evil's might, beware my power, Green Lantern's light! Welcome to episode 20 of the Ability Almanac. If you couldn't tell by the oath, today we're taking a look at Green Lantern's abilities. This is especially special for us because this is a trip down nostalgia land for Green Lantern fans. Because every single one of Green Lantern's abilities here were old moves from Injustice 1. And these all replace his new special moves in Injustice 2. So if you're a fan of the minigun, stick around because we're about to shine a light on the Green Lantern Corps. You don't want me to sit here and explain Green Lantern's gameplay because we all know how it works. Now, replacing the battery blast, we have Oa's rocket, a straight flying rocket that on hit can be meter burned after a slight delay in order to pop up the opponent. You can also explode it prematurely in order to create a sort of explosion field that will allow you to catch opponents off guard. There is an aerial version of Oa's rocket, but it cannot be meter burned. The bright side, it's an overhead. It's not a straight projectile. So you can use this as a way to, if you could get your instant airs down, you can get your instant air Oa rockets for an instant air overhead, which is unlike any other jumping attack because most instant air jumping attacks are mid on the way up. Also, as you notice in that combo, sometimes you can make Oa's rocket detonate but not pop up the opponent if you've already detonated the rocket once. Time to move on to John Stewart and what he brings to the table. John Stewart brings the classic minigun, replacing the bowling ball from Injustice 2. Now, the minigun, when meter burn, does the two sweeps, but it's not a full screen projectile. Just keep that in mind. It isn't full screen, unlike Oa's rocket. It's really only good for checking your opponent and stopping wake-ups and stuff. There is actually a very specific loadout that I will demonstrate here, where you can get more out of the minigun. But before that, we need to talk about the replacement for the overcharged lantern, rocket power. This sends two rockets careening towards the opponent, and when they collide, they explode. Meter burning sends a second rocket that explodes immediately on contact with the opponent, meaning it's a good way to check in case you accidentally messed up your range. When you have the Lantern's Might trait on and activate and use the rocket power, you will actually kaboom the opponent into a pop-up. And you just noticed a third sweep. That only happens with the minigun if you have the 3009 Green Lantern helmet and lantern. Once you have both of those, you get the third sweep. Now, in this loadout, we have something interesting. One of only two gear abilities that was not in Green Lantern's arsenal before. Quick Charge. This summons the Lantern and allows Green Lantern to charge up to 80% of his bar. Here's the thing. You cannot do anything. You can't dash cancel, you can't attack cancel, you can't do anything out of it. And if you just tap the Lantern, you don't get any power. You have to hold it at least for a few frames in order to get even a smidgen of power outside of activating this move. Replacing the willpower wall is the Turbine Smash, where Green Lantern charges forward with a jet engine. You can meter burn it to turn it into a projectile to make yourself a lot more safe in certain situations, since this move is incredibly unsafe at close range if it has been blocked. Time to move on to the next loadout. You'll notice that Green Lantern has no two-slot abilities. Even his alternate trait isn't two slots. It's called Lantern Barrier, and what this does is it buffs Green Lantern's defense. This combo from the Joker, used as an example, will do approximately 275 damage to Green Lantern without the trait on. With the trait on, however, Green Lantern only takes 180 damage. It's a 25% damage reduction overall, which means that Green Lantern's defense can get a decent buff with this trait. Now that you've seen this mighty Morphin Super move, it's time for the frame data of all of Green Lantern's moves. Now, keep in mind that with the quick charge, which is where Green Lantern charges up Super Meter with the lantern, the 68 frames of recovery are when you release your ring from the lantern. That's right. Even after let's say you've got a full charge for about 3 seconds, you're still vulnerable for another second afterwards. So something to keep in mind. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, DFTBA.